My plan was, which worked really well, I put it in my mouth.
7.
Something like this, and the clock goes up and he goes, have you seen any guys, you know, tic-tac your eye? There's a 7, what, it can't be 7:01?
I can't be no 7:01, it's 7 o'clock.
Okay. Like call in September. Man, days. If you're willing and able. Well, you got something to do tonight?
No, I got nothing to do.
I have to call the meeting to order, then we stand up and say. Thank you very much. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
No.
Thank you, everybody. For coming. Before you have the agenda for tonight, anybody have anything that they would like to add, correct, or change? I do. I would like to change under discussion items, make this D, revise the agenda, and make the next meeting agenda topic E.
16, you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, 16. What's D?
What's D?
D would be revised PC agenda.
Revise this agenda?
For discussion.
Yes.
For discussion.
Discussion.
Okay. And then the current D is now E.
It will be E, next regular meeting agenda for October 22nd.
I move to accept the agenda as amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, team members. We also have our minutes from August 20th. I apologize, I did not read them closely. I had to have a week. Anybody else have any corrections, updates, or things that got missed?
It seems like we were missing some pages, or?
No?
It was a short meeting.
It was a focused meeting.
I know. All I've got is one page.
It's on the back.
It's on the back of the page.
I didn't know.
Oh, it was adjourned.
But we had more Article 3 changes that weren't discussed, or I mean, that weren't in here.
For some of them, we said, oh, Shri, please go out through the whole document and make these changes. So we didn't list every single time there were organization errors of certain types.
Do you think the back of it wasn't printed in the packet, or?
Well, I mean, like,
It's there.
we made a change to F3 and F5. And, yeah, I understand the capitalizations, but we made a change to section 385, A2, and so I just thought, because it was weird how it was adjourned at 9:06. It's like, it's not even a complete sentence, so it felt like we were missing some.
Oh yeah, that does look odd though, right?
Yeah.
Do you have the back?
No,
No.
I didn't have a packet, so I just printed this. It's like this.
So that's what made me feel like,
Let me,
Well, then.
I may
I
have.
don't have my computer with me.
Then maybe we make a motion not to accept the draft minutes from August 20th until updates.
Julie is absolutely correct. The minutes that you and I looked at have a whole other page.
Whoa, what happened? It's gone.
It's
It's
gone.
gone.
So it's missing.
A page.
It's missing a page.
So,
But I thought it said that that the minutes have to be approved at the following meeting, and if we don't approve them, what happens? Don't
We
they
approve them at the next-
automatically get finalized?
Can't you make a copy and hand it out to the group and they can read it?
So this particular one is a draft that it's not the
Well,
final
I
one.
can, I'll try to print
And I don't have the final one. Oh, Sri has the final one, awesome.
Well, then, no, no reason to be sorry. We can approve the agenda later in the meeting.
Good idea. Approve the minutes later in the meeting?
Yes, or minutes rather. A little later, public comment, number 6. Anything?
I guess if there's ever any interest, all your meetings are up on YouTube for the last like year and a half.
Okay.
How long is it taking to put those up now? Like tonight's meeting, last night's meeting tonight, how long does it take you to get those up?
Couple of days.
Okay.
Okay, seeing no public comment. Sri, do you have anything to report?
I
Yeah, on your
do, I'm
printer
sorry,
report.
I'm trying to, I think I just used the PDF. That was in there, and I only had 2 pages, so I don't know who saved that PDF.
Is there another one that's a Word document?
I think whoever did it, they probably scanned it, and it missed the second
That
page.
missed the back of the
Because they
page.
probably scanned the one with your
Yeah,
initials.
yeah,
I should have probably used the Word, but I was like, oh, I have a PDF already.
yeah, they missed it.
Yeah, this one's 3 pages. Okay, anything to report? George reminded me that I skipped a meeting in my meeting attendance, the August 20th Planning Commission meeting. So there were a total of 6 night meetings in the month of August, a busy, busy week. We had, Jeff, not here, okay. What's happening at the township? I'm sorry, I'm slower again. I think the permits have slowed down a bit, that I know for sure, but I'm still having, the swimming pool permits with the fence has been a little bit of, an issue to review, because recently one of the applicant, suggested he wanted to do a fence which is not the typical wrought iron fence with the slats I see for swimming pools, it's different. And then I reached out to the county to say, hey, can you tell me if this meets the building code requirements? Because this is alternate, and then they're like, we don't require a fence. So I'm in the middle of that conversation with the county. Because I feel like they should be the one who should tell me if this meets the code or not.
There's a discussion of that on the MTA newsletter
About the pole fences?
about pool fences.
Oh, that's good.
And the general consensus of those who have responded is exactly as we have discussed, that a fence is the better additional solution because it provides a physical barrier to the property or that portion of the property, regardless of whether somebody's home or not. So there, a number of other townships have that in their ordinance also.
I think that's good, that they emphasized and, corroborated what we thought. It's just a matter of if we had acceptable fence types available, then we can skip the back and forth with the county as what's acceptable. I can give a little update on the board when we get to the board part.
Okay.
It's just.
I asked for it too, since
Oh.
whoever wants. Anything else on Sri's report that anybody has questions of, comments?
I have one comment and one question. So my comment is on page 6 of 31, in the second bucket, amendments in the pipeline for the PC. Last time I requested for number 2 that at our February meeting, we chose 2 priorities, 1610 and 1615. 1615 is groundwater protection. So, and that's the last, environmental regulation or master plan item we chose. So instead of listing this as a general bucket where it looks like we haven't done anything, I requested that we actually identify it as groundwater protection section 1615 and name it that because we have chosen it. And our chair has asked twice about, well, can we start on it? So it doesn't have an action date yet, but it's clearly, specifically there.
I don't know how I kept missing that, because I remember,
You made other updates, thank
I
you.
did.
Thank you. And then my question is on this page 7 of 31. So is this I know we were changing it, is this the active and closed in the past month permits? Or is
Those
this
were the one issued in the past
the
month.
ones issued, so it's not active and closed?
No, it's just compliance permits issued.
Okay.
It's really very tricky to make it very specific. I am limited in what kind of reports I can generate in BSNA. So I could do, I guess I could do 2 multiple reports rather than having 3 all play around with it one more time.
Because before we had really big and now we have really short. And
Well, the whole goal is what is salient to us. And if
Yeah.
it isn't, I don't know, I personally don't care what's in it. Because it's just her comments on what's going on. There's nothing in there that we have any action on. So, we had asked her last time to go back for a month, she did that.
Oh, I thought this was something, I didn't understand whether this is what I asked her to do or if this is something different, so I'm
Well, this is
sorry.
what we had asked her to do last
I
time.
misunderstood that.
Yeah, we said she was going back to the first of the year. It was like, if they've been issued, it's way back to the first of the year. We don't need 3 or 4 pages of updates.
I misunderstood what we asked.
Anybody else? I mean, do we want more? Do we, is it,
No, well,
I mean,
you know, I
is it
think
enough?
this is good because we did talk about the first of the year. But then at the end of this year, a combined year total, that's how I would call it.
Okay.
We good then? With what it is? Is it? Anybody else? Okay.
And then I do have a question on 931 and 1031. So this report is great, the one that Chuck, the new chart,
So we're moving on to enforcement?
I'm sorry.
Are we?
Well, yes, I'm sorry.
We okay
I'm
to
saying
move on?
the street gives it, so I was
Are we
thinking.
okay to move on to enforcement, everybody? Okay. I'm ready. Thank you, George. Next.
Is this new chart acceptable? One of the things I was thinking about was, would it be helpful to know what the alleged ordinance violation is?
Is that enough purview?
It says
I mean, there's nothing we're going to affect.
Well, it is, because we're the one that writes it.
Right. It's after the fact.
Yes, but I'm saying, if we get, again, it's the same logic as home-based business. If you get a bunch of these things that are alleged, in other words, is that enough, or in other words, leave well enough alone, or is this okay? It's a question.
You want to know the section of the ordinance?
Yes, just what section of the ordinance, is that too complicated, just leave well enough alone?
I don't think it's hard to generate. I can run that by Chuck. If it's alleged, unless we determine that, okay, it's time to send a letter, I think it shouldn't be hard. I was thinking out loud. I'll run it by Chuck.
Well, we leave it alone. Is everybody okay with this as it is presented this month, this new chart? Is that fine?
I'm fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, thank you. That was just a question.
I mean, I will say this on that, it's our responsibility to bring to us,
Yep.
if something starts to aggregate into a bucket, and say, by the way, we're seeing 20 of these, we should relook at that ordinance, but in this report, there's nothing we can do as a result of individual ones and twos, right? Or am I wrong on that?
No, that makes sense.
Okay. Thank you, Sri. Who is providing a board report? Anybody?
think, Rick, you want to get started, I can add to it.
Okay.
Now use your microphone. She's way over.
First of all, it was quite a lengthy meeting. The township talked about their funding, or their funding priorities, in other words, what they're spending for this year. They adopted the tax rates for next year. And again, they're not gonna levy operating money at this time. The auditors request increase in their rate. They haven't received an increase in quite a number of years. I think it's been 10 years since they got an increase, so they're actually due. It's surprising. They talked about the remodel on the offices. We got bids in a week or so ago. I got 4 bids to redo the offices, mainly where the fire hall is. They're going to have a special meeting on the 23rd at 6 o'clock to discuss and decide what they're going to do, who they're going to pick. Out of the 4 bids, 2 of them were around 420 something, the other 2 were around 490 something. So, but they're trying to compare them, because some stuff's included in one and not in the other, so that's got to be compared. Then they talked about the, I don't know if you're aware, but we have mold in the walls. And they talked a little bit about how they're going to remedy that and what they're going to do in that situation. And basically, I can't see them fixing inside the wall until they correct the problem. Yeah, PDR approval request for, it's just appraisal being done. The Historical Society want to redo their agreement with the township, and they request waive the fees. That was approved. And there were some invoices for furniture for the offices that they needed, and that was approved. That was all the action items. Discussion items was basically, they talked about the website, Parks and Rec master plan update, Washington County water resources proposal. We're going to talk about the private road ordinance, but that was postponed. Fire protection interlocal agreement, Dexter City would like to redo the interlocal agreement, and the reason they want to redo that is because their costs are going way up. I mean, they didn't complain when their costs were down, but now that their costs are going up, they want to redo the agreement. There was a proposal to redo or add surveillance cameras in and outside of the building. I don't know, it's what, 10,000?
I left by item F, but yes, I think that sounds about right.
About somewhere around about 10,000. They're getting a grant. They're applying for a grant of 2,500. But that's basically that. You got some more to add?
Sure, yeah, I do. Thanks for getting me started. The website usage improvements and changes. After speaking with the website folks, we kind of realized that we misunderstood the scope of changes that were offered. It's not an overall total redo of the website, it's mostly a refresh of the website. So it's going to make the website look fresh colors, modern, the sitemap will still be the same, the calendar will be a little bit more user-friendly, and a couple of changes. They gave us a kickoff questionnaire where they asked some questions about, would you like a modern, traditional, combined, or what kind of colors would you like? Do you like the quick links to the side or the bottom or the top? How would you like to see the calendar, stuff like that. So we put those questions in a Google form, and then I emailed the survey this afternoon to the Planning Commission. If you can get us back your feedback by end of the month, we needed to kickstart that process, because that process takes about 5 to 6 months for the new one to be live. In the meantime, if we decide to do any organizational changes to the website, then that would be considered a change order. It's not part of the $3,000 refresh that they're offering every 5 years. I think, I forgot my favorite one name, but I like the modern one, and the name of the place was so funny, I forgot. It's very funny. But I think, yeah, what I did in the email is that I also forwarded a couple of examples that they recently did as a refresh. Dumb fries. I thought that was a fast food center until I realized it's not. It's funny, it's cute though. That's my favorite one though. So yes, please provide your input by end of the month so that we can start the kickoff meeting and get the process started. Parks and Recreation Master Plan update. Yesterday we asked the board whether they want us to start the grant work for apply for the funds, DNR grants for the park in the back. And after a good discussion, they decided to apply to maybe plan for 2026 grant cycle, not 2027 grant cycle, not 2026. Because there are a lot of decisions the board needs to make with regards to how much money they can put towards the park to match the grant, and what it takes to maintain the property, what it takes to have a security plan well, or if we needed to break down the parks. Right now the cost estimate is broken down into 2 phases, and they also wanted the Parks and Rec Committee to look into whether they need to break it down further into 3 phases so that it's more manageable chunks to move forward. So we're still going to go ahead and wrap up the Parks and Master Plan update. It might be March instead of February, now that we don't have the deadline looming over our head, because that's going to be active for 5 years. We also didn't get much response back from the surveys, so we were going to try and do one more, not as part of the master plan, but just as part of the grant preparation, along with the tax bills in November, where the questions are very focused with regards to cost, construction cost, and the priorities. So we will roll out one survey at that time to help us with the grant. Private road ordinance update, they've decided to talk about it on October 21st meeting, to look at all 5 articles together. We made good progress at the last meeting for Article 4 and 5. We got good guidance. We're going to revise the language. 1, 2, and 3 have been discussed. We have the revisions completed. So we're just going to bring back all 5 together on October 21st. That was most of the discussions that happened at the board. Any questions?
Go ahead.
Question about, was a decision made about, there were 2 additional questions in addition to the new ordinance, about what happens if someone who's on someone wants to hook into a road or a driveway that's currently non-conforming. What happens to them? Has that been decided?
No. Like if they want to build a new shared driveway to hook into the existing one?
Yeah, if they want to hook into an existing driveway or a road that it is already non-conforming.
Yes, so they did decide that whoever trying to build a new one, the new one should comply with the standards, but we're gonna leave the old one as is.
Okay. So it would be, continue to be non-conforming.
It will become, however, we would take that opportunity to just send an informative letter to everybody on the road indicating that, okay, we are reviewing this plan. As part of the review, we also completed a site inspection of the existing non-compliant access, and this is where you're lacking. That would, restrict the security reasons 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we will leave it up to them if they wanted to fix it or ask for an SAD or live with it.
Thank you.
So yeah, that was the guidance we got.
Anybody else? I have two questions. When I was here, there were comments made about, is the park something that is moving forward? So it is moving forward.
The master plan is moving forward.
Because there was a question about, is it worth it, including maintenance?
That's the reason.
Given the tightening of the state and federal budgets.
Right. So that's why they decided not to ask to seek the grant funding in 2026, but to seek it in 2027,
Okay.
because that will give us enough time to figure out what's going on at a federal level and what's going on with their priority planning and the budget planning.
Gotcha.
So they didn't want to rush into a decision.
So, Rick, this might be a question for you, since you're looking at the bids. This camera, the camera thing, grant, is that going to be integrated with the township hall renovations, or is this going to be
Separate. I mean,
okey dokey?
what's that?
Okey dokey.
Okay.
I just don't understand taking apart walls and then putting them back together and then taking them apart and putting them back together.
Oh, the cameras are just outside fixtures. I think aren't the cameras just fixing on a wall? We don't need to take apart the wall.
Okay.
The one thing they're talking about is, they got more of those big screens, and they want to, instead of running cords down, they want to run outlets up above. So this is all going to be done separate from, they're getting a company to do it that's not doing the remodel, so it's a separate issue.
Gotcha. Thank you.
And I guess they're going to do it right away.
Wow.
But they did talk about combining the mold remediation with the renovation, so that it's the one person, one company goes in taking care of the whole thing.
Gotcha.
Right.
They did talk about that.
Thank you. Anything else? Sorry for that call on. ZBA, Rick, anything from there?
No, we haven't had a meeting, but I guess there is one scheduled.
I was trying to get an alternate date for that one meeting, to move it from October 7th to October 14th. I only heard from 3 people, so I haven't had a quorum yet. But the one that's going to be on the 14th, if there's a quorum, is they're seeking variance to not screen the ground mount solar system. Ground mount solar system? Sorry, that's probably not. Sometimes it just hits me differently. That's probably a different community, but I thought it's screening comes to planning commission, but not for ground mount. Okay. I thought I missed it. I didn't.
Okay. We're good then?
I think that's it. And then the lake lot discussion, whoever has been following that with the ZBA, the peninsula lot with all the variances,
Yeah.
they withdrew the request. So there's going to be somebody else who's going to come in and they may have a different plan.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, one more. Webster Historical Society, they have officially submitted a special use amendment request. So that will be coming to you guys at the next meeting. We did talk about a couple of things. And she did come to the planning commission the other day asking if she can not do a site plan for, because they're not proposing any changes to the site plan. And we said, bring us what you have so far and we'll talk about it. So that's what we're gonna do at the next meeting. I'm gonna bring the application that was submitted, and then we can decide on the scope of work and if any additional materials are required. We initially charged them $400 to get started because there was no site plan review involved, which is what the board waived last night. But I did inform the board that there might be additional review fees if we decide we need a site plan. I think that's it. I'm done.
Thank you. The PDR report that was in the board report, Rich, is that the only thing we need to know there? Hello, Richard. The PDR that you mentioned in the board report, that's the only thing that's going on with PDR? You
As
know?
far as I know, yeah.
Okay, anybody else know anything about PDR? Okay. We'll move on. Natural features, Kay?
I gave you a pile of papers. The first one is this one-page description. The Natural Features Committee proposes to the board that we apply to the Washtenaw County Water Resource Commissioner's Office to participate in their program called Community Partners for Clean Streams. So the reason why we want to join is because we think it provides recognition. So Webster Township would be listed as a participant. Other townships participate. They have resources. They have multiple resources. Remember, the Natural Features Committee is preparing this additional section on our website. We would reference some of those resources. And they have grant opportunities. We still haven't heard from the County Conservation District about our grant, but we have this and one other option. If we don't get that one, we'll take the same information and try to get a grant from somewhere else. So there's no cost to this. It's just highlights the, so I think the Water Resources Commission is trying to do what we're trying to do, is reach out and educate people. There is an application, and participation is based on having policies that protect clean water. And for us, that's the zoning ordinances. So we met with Sri and our supervisor, Mike, and we talked through this, and Mike thought it was a reasonable thing to present to the board. So I understand, I didn't realize it was on the agenda, or it would have come, but they had a couple questions, so they're going to try to resolve it next time. But we believe it's all positive. So this is the same description that we gave to the board. And then the other thing is, the Natural Features Committee is having a table at the Fall Festival. We're going to focus on pollinator activities for kids, like bees and butterflies. We won't have any actual bees there. And then also native plants and pollinators for the adults. So come on by.
Anything for Kay? Thank you, Kay. Appreciate the update.
Tom, if I may, can I just go grab the printouts before we get into the...
I sort of have a question, but you might not know what the answer. It's a really odd, like, just swat.
So
That's low impervious surfaces, which is sort of strange.
I'm going to talk about that when we talk about 15B.
Okay.
So I'm going to use those other, the zoning map and the maps from the master plan to make a point about that. So I will explain and highlight. Is that
Actually, we
okay?
made a mistake on the agenda. It should be 15A, because there's not a B.
You were correct.
Sorry. So this is for later.
That's for later.
Okay. to look them over and raise a hand when you're ready to go back at them. Dumb question. I never noticed this before. Why doesn't John Sharp, our third elected official, get a copy of these minutes?
He doesn't?
It says that see copies to Angela, Pavant, and Sri, not John.
Because, sorry, go ahead.
I mean, the final versions, the whole board gets, right? Or
Right.
they get the draft,
Right.
they
So
get
why?
they get the draft in the board meeting packet.
Right.
So who makes the agenda for the board meeting? The supervisor and the clerk.
Well, that's why. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I forgot about this being a draft. All right.
Yeah, but that's exactly what I was gonna say, and I'm just special.
And you're special. Yes. Back to the approval of the agenda, item 4, or the main minutes rather, item 5. Did you have a chance to review them? Any comments, suggestions, corrections?
Move to approve the minutes as submitted.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Thanks for catching that. Thanks, Julie. Okay, we're on to number 13, our public hearing. I would like to open a public hearing regarding the zoning draft amendment, Article 3, Certificate of Zoning Appliance for review and approval, 25 ZTA 03. Does anybody from the public like to come forward and speak at this time on that topic? Seeing none, public hearing is closed. In front of you, you have the draft. We have lawyers' comments back, the final draft, starting on page 21, I think it is. Sri, can you tell us about the lawyers' comments and the context of some of them? Because some of them just had 3 or 4 words like, how about this, it doesn't fit or something. And since you were working with them, I appreciate that insight.
Sure. He said he looked at the document as a document alone. He did provide a disclaimer that he didn't review it against how it works with other sections of the ordinance, and then we said we looked into that. Most of his comments, he said he doesn't have any comments in terms of the organization or the regulations or the standards. He just had some clarifications with regards to how some things can be said better with a different choice of words for the most part. There was some place where he struck something and then he said, what is the goal here? And when that omission made sense to me, the final draft doesn't have the omission. I accepted that change. There was one comment. The platted subdivisions, which he made a comment that this feels out of place.
What page are we on?
Oh, sorry, page 17, 2C.
Okay, thank you.
So he made a comment where he omitted something. Essentially, that's the pattern. If he had a comment, that means he deleted something we wrote. Most of the other revisions he made are just using a different wording instead of what we use, but he's okay with the general idea and the intent and the goal.
So his goal is we don't re-investigate it anywhere in the document, in the ordinance?
I'm sorry?
Well, he said it's misplaced. Does it now appear somewhere else?
No, he just says that it probably just makes sense to be in the land division ordinance because zoning ordinance doesn't regulate platted subdivisions. He's like, why is it here in the zoning ordinance? So I just moved it here and then it's part of, I don't think it's part of the land division ordinance, but nobody's doing platted subdivisions anymore. If they do it, then we would inspect it at the end. Site condos are the in thing now.
Do you think we should include it in that ordinance, go back and make that revision now, even though it wouldn't have to apply? I mean, the reason I ask that is, let's say a platted subdivision comes up. All of a sudden, we're in a scramble to add or change language to meet some deadline that some developer comes in with, rather than spending the 15 minutes putting it in there and getting it done.
We do have a couple of changes we've been discussing and tagging, adding notes, which is also, in the bucket for something the board needs to do, which are some revisions to the land division ordinance. I can add it to that list.
Would you please?
One of the, I think it's, that's a good question that prompted me in recent conversation with Matt. In our zoning ordinance, there is a standard that says the depth of the lot shall not exceed the width of the width of the lot, the 4:1 ratio. I recently received a land split application where they are over the maximum depth by 25 feet. So we dug deep into the land division ordinance, reviewed every word, and then the final conclusion that was made was, in the land division ordinance, one of the sections says this ordinance doesn't apply to acreage tracts. So it wouldn't have applied to that because it's a split through land division ordinance. It's not a split through a site condo. So the 4:1 ratio applies if it's part of a site condo or a subdivision, not if it's a split. Because the acreage tracts will be subject to the Land Division Act, which says if a property is more than 10 acres, they don't need to comply with the 4:1 ratio. But if it's less than 10, yes, they may have to comply with the 4:1 ratio. Is what our attorney got. So we've approved that split administratively.
Any other attorney comments you'd like to comment on?
No, I think most of them were very straightforward. I didn't have any questions. We didn't have our usual follow-up meeting after that. Unless if there's anything you guys thought of, I can try to answer it. If I don't know, I can find the answer for it.
And that's what we usually do, okay?
I have just one question, clarification. On page 13 of 31, he says, issued as a matter of right. What does that mean? So it was kept in there, but I don't understand what that means.
Oh, that's the one we never closed the loop on that conversation. Every time we start talking about it, I think, no, I don't think he ever responded to that communication.
So we're just leaving it in as it is.
He didn't,
So you don't know what it means either?
I
Or
don't know what that,
Okay.
I did ask him, I don't think he responded to me.
Well, then he loses. Just because he's a lawyer doesn't mean he's right. It just means he's a lawyer.
I'm reminding him again, if he responds before the meeting ends.
What?
Mm.
Do any other commissioners have any comments on the revised draft? Comments have been made to margins. George, anything?
I'm good.
Paul, you're good?
Yep.
Julie?
Made some edits, but the lawyer found something.
What minutes?
In the clean copy.
Mhm.
Yeah,
We haven't gotten there yet, right?
okay.
There are some
Corrections.
Okay. So we're done with the lawyer's comments portion? Okay, move on to the clean edit. Okay, Julie?
First page D.
Which page? 21 or 31?
I gotta get to it. You know, I
Let's start at the beginning.
Yeah, 21, D 2, 3, and 4, all need periods.
What?
D 2,
Oh,
3, and 4.
do they? Or is
They
it
do.
just you want them?
I did a program check, I don't think we have a thing for period, I need to figure that out, how to put it there.
So we're putting in periods?
It's not a complete
No,
sentence.
they're not
So
sentences.
it doesn't require a period, but
Right.
it's inconsistent because
It's
one has a
inconsistent.
period and the others don't.
Okay, so we're adding periods for consistency.
Just consistency.
Anybody else got anything on 21 or 31?
Makes sense, maybe that's what we catch it.
Seeing none, we move on to the next page. 22. We'll get you one, don't worry. So, page 22 of 20, whatever, is 31. Anybody have changes or comments on that page?
Yeah, we talked about, I can't remember why, in the middle highlighted box, it says preliminary certificate of compliance permit issued. My notes have the word zoning put in front of compliance. Now, that can be
Yeah.
as well as,
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
as well as second to bottom box, also be in that box too, temporary.
I'm
That's
getting,
okay.
I got it. She's not-
So the middle highlighted box, right?
Yeah.
The middle highlighted box and the second to bottom box should have zoning in front of compliance also.
Second to bottom, final
inspection
completed.
Temporary final certificate of zoning compliance.
It's not a grayed out box, it's the zoning.
So does that mean we're also changing it in the language?
I thought we changed this over management language, didn't we?
No, the language just says preliminary certificate of compliance.
Well, we had changed it, we had added the word zoning. Yeah, last.
Maybe it's fine now if you took zoning out. I thought we were doing it to match the last language.
No, I think that's fine. This might be an off one. I checked with the F, I should probably call it application for new certificate of zoning compliance on page 23. That might be the one-off one.
Yeah, well, that's where it is in the copy, but on the chart,
Yeah. So
as
can we,
Paul correctly pointed out, we had added that last time. My notes include that also.
so I didn't catch that last point. But
So
22, I got.
22 to
Yeah,
two
there are three
grays,
places.
Mhm. 3 places?
4, right? Even the header and the
Oh.
text.
So compliance permit zoning application? Zoning permit
Add
application.
zoning in front of compliance in the chart.
Okay. Everywhere.
Everywhere.
So there's 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Certificate of zoning.
Where's the 5th?
6.
Okay, let's walk down the page. and
Yes,
that one,
so the first top, it says compliance permit application submitted.
That's zoning compliance.
That's zoning, so that's number 1.
Number 2.
And number 2 is in the second gray box, there are 2 on the title and then the following text. And then we have the temporary final certificate of compliance, the small box right above the last gray one.
Right.
And then we have the last gray box, we have 2. Zoning and
Oh.
zoning.
Right.
So that's one,
It's-
two,
It's in
three.
box and the title.
6.
Right.
Mhm.
So, in front of compliance with.
Mhm.
Yeah. Thanks. Good catch.
And on page 23, the title for F, which says application for preliminary certificate of compliance, add zoning before it.
Anything else on 23 then, folks? Okay.
So F2, the last sentence, there's 2 commas after
Okay.
deed. And F4, in the initial text, the first sentence is not a complete sentence. It says proposed plot plan or site plan, either a plot plan under this section or a site plan is required under section 805 of this ordinance, whichever is applicable. So don't we need is required, or we don't really have a verb in there, I don't think. It's a phrase.
We'll just take out whichever. And that fix it.
Perfect. Or a site plan as required under this section of this ordinance is
Is applicable.
applicable.
Take out whichever.
And the comma.
In the column. On 4, F4, the first sentence, take out the comma after ordinance and the word whichever.
And whichever.
Anything else, George, Paul? No?
I have one more, 4B. It says dimension and location. Shouldn't it be dimensions with an S and location of abutting road rights of way? Dimensions or dimension? Question.
I don't have a preference. I understand where you're coming from.
If it's clear,
Is it clear to you guys as a singular? Okay. So nothing else on 23? 24? You didn't get page 24 either?
I think, Rick, did you copy your copy from Martha?
Well, I did. I maybe should have done double sign.
Double sign to double sign.
Oh,
I can
yeah.
get you one.
I don't have,
You might.
I don't have a
I
lot
have
of,
all kinds of strange things.
no, my son's waiting on me to get a draft.
No,
He's like, Dad,
Oh, no,
he goes, what you gonna get next, a draft?
Tough dogs out again.
yeah, there you go. Oh, man. It's okay, how's the river doing? Can you talk to them about getting rid of trees in the river?
No,
I have gone down the river, I actually visited with him 3 years ago. We walked and marked, and he did geo marking of down trees for people who were canoeing, and it's never been done.
we clear out some every year to make it
Some.
accessible.
Some is a very nebulous term.
They don't clear out all because it's the natural rivers district. It's the floodplains of the Huron. They
Yeah.
want it to be natural.
They want people to get stuck under a tree. Okay, so we're back. Do you have what you need now? Okay. Page 24.
I think under I, permit review, second line, I don't know how I missed it, I did a universal search, but the preliminary certificates of zone compliance capitalized.
Same paragraph.
And it's certificate, not certificates of.
Why, in the same paragraph, the word therefore at the end, why is that needed?
It's hanging off there. Stating the reasons, it's right at the end, stating the
Oh,
reasons,
I know,
comma,
I mean-
therefore.
There, it should be thereof. It's the wrong word.
It's here, in this one.
Okay, but it's therefore, it's thereof, I think is the right word. Because application in writing, stating the reasons for it to be in writing. It's supporting the beginning of the sentence.
I think even if you want to keep it simpler, we can just say the zoning administrator or the designee shall reject the application in writing stating the reasons.
Yeah,
Period?
And take the comma off the right after writing
Okay.
yeah.
and take away therefore.
Now, you still need a comma after writing.
We do.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, put a period in the reasons and drop therefore.
I have one in G. So you did a great job in searching and changing zoning administrator or their designee. There's just one here that it shouldn't be its, it should be there.
So this statement is.
Hold on, we're jumping all over the place.
Okay, sorry.
So we went back up to G.
Yes. Zoning administrator or not its designee, their designee.
Yeah,
She got all the other ones.
gotcha. So that's all in G, nothing in H. We fixed capitalization in the end of the sentence in I, down to J.
Number 5, bold.
Oh, yeah. Anything else in J? K? Not that K. K on that I'm talking about. Some comments there. L? No comments there. M? Nothing there. N? Nothing there. O? P? Q? R?
I think Q should display of the certificate, should the certificate be capitalized? Which is the title.
I don't think It's capitalized anywhere else.
Okay.
But you did, the first word, certificates of zoning compliance, the Z and C should be capitalized in R.
We're on Q.
We're on Q.
Oh, I thought you said R, no?
No, we got to Q. I haven't made it to R yet because she made a comment on Q.
Certificate of occupancy. Okay.
On to
yeah,
R.
Yes, I think
Oh, now we're back on Q.
Q, certificate of occupancy, we can capitalize C and O.
I thought we were on display of the certificate.
Right.
The word certificate.
I went to the sentence in Q.
So we think certificate of occupancy should be capitalized. It's a formal name of something.
Yeah.
We're okay with Q.
So we're capitalizing and displaying the certificate, that's capitalized.
Just says C in certificate.
Right,
And then in the end of the sentence where it says
certificate
the
of
occupancy,
occupancy.
C and O. Correct. Okay to move on to R then? Sri found certificates of zoning compliance in the first sentence. Anything else in R?
Yes, I think we need a verb modification. I think we need to say are issued, not just issued, but are issued on the basis of the plans and applications. Otherwise, I don't think it's a complete sentence.
Yeah, it's not a declarative statement.
Should we keep it plural or singular? Should I say a certificate of zoning compliance is issued?
Well, it says certificates, which is plural.
Oh.
Anything else in R? Seeing none, S? Any comments? Nobody's looking up and waving a hand. T? Okay there, okay. Section 3.85, inspections. Anything on page 25 of 31 under section 3.85? Seeing none, is it okay to move on to page 26? Anything on page 26 going in order if you make a comment?
I have something in E. Should we add zoning in front of compliance in the title?
Oh. Yep. It's in the title of B,
Issuance
of final certificate.
of zoning compliance.
Yep. Anything else in A or B? Section C, comments? Seeing none, on to page 27. Anything under section D?
E4, certificate of occupancy, capitalized.
Thanks, Julie. Anything else? Oh, yeah, there's another one under number 2.
Yes. Preliminary certificate of zoning compliance on the second line.
And those capitalized.
Yes. Anything else in section D? Seeing none, on to 3.95, permits expiration and time limits. I have one. Should permits be singular?
Yep.
Anything else? Did we miss anything? Oh, we did. Under A, certificate of compliance again, zoning compliance.
I think I want to add a final certificate of zoning, no, wait, a preliminary certificate of zoning compliance.
third line, 3.958, instead of months of the date a preliminary certificate of zoning compliance is issued.
Right. Anything else? Under 3.95, other than capitalization and the singularity, singular, whatever. Dropping the S off of permanent.
But I think she just added a word too, preliminary.
Where did you add the word?
Line 3.
Line 3, it says a certificate of zoning compliance. It should be a preliminary certificate of zoning compliance.
In A.
Oh, on the first line, into the first line or beginning of the second line. Is that where we're
Third line.
talking?
Third line. Both, I guess.
Yeah, both.
And then capitalize.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, so we need preliminary in two places in A.
And capitalization.
Yeah. Martha, you got it?
I think preliminary before certificate of zoning compliance.
Yes.
Yes. Two places. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, folks.
I think F1, second line at the end, where it says yet to be completed for which the preliminary certificate of zoning compliance was issued.
Okay. Is that it then? Everybody okay? With those changes, may I have a motion?
But will we follow up on the one point with the lawyer?
No. Does he respond at 10 o'clock at night? He loses.
He loses, okay.
That's like I've said many times in here, you've heard me say,
But-
well, lawyers have opinions. They will tell you it's opinions.
Okay.
If it wants to come in later, this still has to go to the board. We can change it there, or we can move this forward perhaps. May I have a motion of some kind? And by the way, on the front of the thing, it should be a draft motion instead of saying changes since October. PC prerogative.
And on page 11 of 31.
Correct, page 1130. Would anybody like to make a motion?
I move to recommend that the township board adopt the proposed amendment to sections 3.80, 3.85, 3.90, and 3.95, and to remove sections 3.100, 3.105, and 3.110 of Article 3 of the township zoning ordinance pertaining to the standards regulating the review and approval of the compliance permit process.
Second.
With the revisions?
I was going to just about say it with revisions, as noted.
Thank you. Now a second to that motion?
Second.
Julie, second. Roll call, Kay?
Yes.
Julie?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, commissioners, for your work and comments. We have no old business, we do have new business, which you have in your packet, which we had talked about before. This section 9.15, the R1 FAR modification. Sri, anything you want to preface before we discuss this?
I know this was a little bit of something different from what the procedure was. Because it was put in front of the board, they said, send it back to PC and then figure out if the change needs to be made now. If yes, do you like it, how it's made, how it's proposed? In the whole motion-making confusion, the board excluded 9.15 in their adoption. So, which means that the sentence we added, this does not apply to lots within a site condominium, didn't make the adoption.
Right.
But, I mean, it's not, it's a clarification one, so if you don't decide to do it, then it's okay even if it's not in there, but I just wanted to state for the record that that sentence didn't make it to the adoption.
So we modified it for the ag district, not the R1. That's what we recommended, so the sentence didn't make it in the ag one or in 915?
In 950, it made it to the ag one because they adopted 9.1.
Okay,
This one, they didn't
so
make it.
this one was not adopted. Right.
And what's the sentence?
It's the,
Or
in
you
the
can
Roman
do
numeral
that.
4, this does not apply to lots within a site condominium.
You don't have that page either.
I have page 29.
It should be 31.
It's right there.
Page 31.
Mhm.
Right. So my understanding of this is, since they did not adopt it, if we agreed to adopt it, we could have a public hearing.
Yep.
And send it back to the board. So,
You can-
special.
Just for that one line,
I didn't, well, yeah, right?
we can combine that with the other one we're working on and then just, couple it with it, because it's not, it's just a matter of clarification, it's not impacting the standard. So what I'm trying to say is it's not time sensitive, we can probably combine it to save time and effort for public hearing.
The public hearing's gonna take about 30 seconds.
But live with another public hearing.
Yeah,
Publish it.
That's what you're recommending, right?
right, well,
But
yeah.
there's more than that changed here. The number is also changed. The far limit is changed here.
Right,
And they did not accept that.
Yes,
It's
correct.
not
So the
just a
one-
sentence, it's the limit.
Okay, let me rephrase. So the sentence in 4, this does not apply to lots within a site condominium, that was recommended by the planning commission, sent to the board. And the language that's highlighted, which is item Roman numeral 6, that was not discussed by the planning commission. The board intended to send 6 back to you guys, but in the whole motion making, they just excluded 9.15.
right. And our discussion was have that conform with what we had in the original document, not 20%, but 30%.
No,
Or,
we discussed keeping the number at 20%, but adding that sentence about this
Right.
does not apply. And so they didn't include any of this. The question, the
Right.
sentence we did recommend, and now there's a new recommendation to change the number.
correct.
Yeah.
So, would anybody like to talk about this anymore then? Yes, Katie?
So I'm afraid I do have an opinion. So I do not think we should pursue this proposal for 3 reasons, and I will try to be brief. So the zoning ordinance supports our community objectives and goals in the master plan, and the concept of using floor area ratio, and lot coverage has been in our zoning ordinance minimally since that 2010, 2011 revision. So it was proposed by planners and adopted by the Planning Commission and the board. And the purpose of this combined strategy is to prevent excessive building density and assure that adequate infrastructure support is available in rural areas. So this is not just some oddball thing in our zoning ordinance. I have now looked at every single one of the 20 township zoning ordinances in Washtenaw County, and 16 out of 20 of those zoning ordinances use FAR and lot coverage together across all their zoning districts. So that means a whole lot of planners and 16 planning commissions and 16 boards have adopted this concept. And sometimes they have a FAR that's the same as lot coverage, and sometimes the FAR is lower, and that's intentional. So the idea is that when there's a sensitive area, you limit the development to, on purpose. So if we look at the definitions on page 29 of 31, lot coverage. So it covers the principal and accessory buildings. So what does this do in the context of the master plan? Well, it makes sure there's green area on every lot. This supports rural character. Also, it's our stormwater management. We don't have any pipes and drains, so the green areas of our lots are our stormwater management. And because it limits the structure, it limits impervious surfaces from roofs. If you look at floor area ratio, it's sort of the volume of the building. So this is intentionally saying we want to limit a house, say, to a house that can hold 2 people instead of 6 in sensitive areas. And the reason is because if you have more people, they're driving more cars and will exceed the capacity of our gravel roads more quickly, and then we'll have to pave them, and it increases the impervious surface. So the FAR is looking at this kind of density and looking at transportation issues that lead to problems with our infrastructure. So they are 2 different things, and the concept is intentional. 16 out of 20 ordinances have this. So I'm really concerned that I think going at a really detailed level and tweaking numbers without looking at the bigger picture will most likely create inconsistencies. And maybe we already have an example of that from the BLLR. When we talked about the BLLR, I thought the gist of Paul's comments were, I don't remember taking it out. Maybe it was a mistake, and maybe we should add it in. So my first point is, this whole concept was implemented by a lot of different people, and I think that we are making a mistake to try and go tweak the details without looking at the big picture and understanding this. Now, I know in the memo we got, it says we don't need this, but 16 out of 20 townships have a different philosophy. So I think I'm open that we might change it someday, but we need to do this with a big picture thing. So my second point is that the Ag District, the R2 and the R1 are very different situations. So for this, I'd like to look at the zoning map. So if you hold it this way, the white is Ag. There's a lot of white. So we approved, based on the zoning ZBA request, we approved a change to the limits for non-conforming structures in the Ag. In the Ag, there's a lot of land. There's a lot of bigger lots. So if there's sort of isolated areas of increased density, it's not going to have a huge impact. If instead we look at R2, so our memo mentions R2, and it says, well, it's comparable lot sizes. R2 is at the bottom of this page. It's sort of tan. And I need to point out that's Loch Alpine. Loch Alpine is the only part of our township that has urban infrastructure. They have a drinking water plant, they have a sewer system, and they have some aspects of stormwater management, and all their roads are already paved. So using the R2 as a comparison with anything is totally apples and oranges, because the whole point of this is to protect rural infrastructure, natural features, and gravel roads. So if we look at R1, which is where the proposal is, that's all this purple stuff. And down in the left-hand corner, there's a lot of purple, and over on the side, and up by the lake. So in R1, the lots are smaller, and if we look at this map from the master plan, map 11, existing impervious surface. So if you look on the left-hand side where it says river number 9, so it's a little hard to tell the different colors, but that's about 6%. So based on when we did this master plan, they estimated that at 6%. And then the ag areas are still more like 3 and 4%. So the research shows that if you get above 10% impervious surface in an area, then that's when it degrades your natural features, infrastructure in terms of stormwater and things. So if you turn the map over for map 12 and you look at the predicted future impervious surface, that dark, dark purple, that's 11%, is in that River 9 area. That's covering the R1 and the more residential areas. So this area with the smaller lots and already higher impervious surface is the one that's predicted to exceed 10%. And so that's why in the R1, it's a sensitive area, there's more controls on trying to limit the density. So I do not think we can compare R1 to Ag or R2, and because they're very different situations. So my last point. I had one more point on that. The master plan says that to reduce impacts of impervious surfaces, the township will require designs that reduce impervious surfaces, and using FAR together with lot coverage is one of those. We have actually quite a few different strategies in our zoning ordinance that are not mentioned in detail in the master plan. The master plan is a bigger picture document. So my last point is a worry about fairness. In the email we got on July 28th, it said, while reviewing another recent ZBA application. And at the August meeting, it was stated that an active ZBA applicant may wait for a decision from the PC before completing their application. So my concern is that it's not our job on the Planning Commission to change the zoning ordinance for one person. And if that change means that someone no longer has to ask for a variance or it's a small ask, then I think that's really unfair to all their neighbors and anyone in the community who might want to comment on that. So even the appearance of changing it for one person, and now this has been receded, but that was discussed, I think that's a problem. And I also had a problem about this particular proposal not being discussed with a public hearing. So I would like to suggest that this sort of hasty, just one more thing is absolutely not a follow-on from what we already did. And I think we talked before about talking about any further changes when we do the master plan. And I think our time would be better spent right now on our priorities where we have a higher chance for a more positive impact, like the animal nuisance or the groundwater. So I don't think we should take any action on this.
Anybody else?
Street, in the public hearing we had on this months ago, did we include D4 in that public hearing?
Yes.
So that was part of the public hearing, it was approved by the planning commission.
Right.
So, can that alone go to the board?
Again,
Just that one
that's a good point.
change?
Yes, it can.
And then we'd be done, we wouldn't have to hold that public hearing, because we already covered it.
Not for 4.
No.
But I do, after the planning commission shared their comments or before, whenever you think time is right, I do have some point of clarifications.
Let's let our commissioners, Paul, Julie, Julie, anything that, George? Sri, want
Okay.
clarifications?
Kay was kind enough to give me a heads up to where she's coming from, what her thoughts were, with regards to this amendment. I really appreciate that. That gave me some time to think and understand and provide a response to that. Couple of content-related clarifications. One, yes, there are other communities in Washtenaw County that are still using FAR. As part of your research, I'm wondering if you looked at what the values are.
Yes, and I'm working on tabulating that, but it's a lot, because it's 16 out of 20, but I will finish that.
At least a couple, like I just looked at a couple right now. I have more in my laptop, I didn't, but all of those, at least for Dexter, Sayo, and Lima, they don't have, they didn't recognize non-conforming lots versus conforming lots. They just had one flat lot coverage and one flat FAR ratio for all. And the FAR is either same as lot coverage or more. Again, that's only 3 ordinances case looking at 16 ordinances, but I just wanted, my comment when I pointed this out, also sidebar, yes, the ZBA application was the one which prompted me to realize that this was left out, but that is not the reason why I went to the board and said we need to change it. So I made the same clarification with the board that the ZBA application made me pointed out that, hey, I missed it, but that is not the reason why the amendment was being rushed. And so I wanted to just make that clear for record and emphasize on it as much as I can, because it's not one person that prompted the amendment, it's that one application that made me think, how did we miss this? And the reference to the application was just made to indicate why this is being introduced now. I mean, I can probably say I thought about it in my sleep, but that's not how it came to me. The application pointed that out. So that was one clarification. And impervious area, great maps, and I get the, I'm not trying to make a case as this needs to be done now, but I'm just trying to clarify a couple of things whenever you decide to do it. The maps impervious areas is what impervious area is on the first floor, on the ground. I don't think the impervious areas maps consider what's on the second floor. The impervious areas.
As a part of FAR is what you're saying. So,
no, these maps.
Yeah,
these maps, when it refers to impervious
It's
area,
what's
it's the lot coverage, not the FAR.
True, because FAR impacts transportation
Right.
impervious surface, which is roads and driveways.
But not this.
That too, though.
That lot coverage. So, what? Sure. So my recommendation is, if you don't want to consider it now, if you want to consider it at the time of master plan, that's definitely your, it's within your, that's your decision. But what felt odd for me is that the FAR value is more than lot coverage. If you don't want to increase the lot coverage, then don't even have 30% lot coverage for non-conforming. Keep it at 20. Keep the lot coverage and FAR at 20 so that it's consistent. It's almost like you're giving somebody 5 cookies, which is what you get for lot coverage, and say, oh, by the way, FAR will only allow you to eat 3, the other 2 are just on paper. That's what we're doing with having a lot coverage that's more than FAR. If we are concerned about all the points Kay raised, which are consistent with the master plan goals and all, I would recommend make it 20/20 so that it doesn't come out as odd to people who come in and say, well, I thought based on lot coverage I could get this square footage, but now you're telling me I can't get it because FAR caps me off. And that's exactly why, again, the application is just a reference. The applicant withdrew his request and has made a formal request to the board to give his all money back. So that is a discrepancy. If the goal is not to have more impervious area, not to have more density, we should at least take away item 4 altogether and just keep it at 20% FAR, 20% lot coverage. That way we are saying you have 3 cookies. If you wanted to eat 2 in first floor, 1 in second floor, or 1.5 each floor, it's up to you, but you get to use whatever you're given. And maybe I misunderstood this comment, the last comment, that sending this back to the board without a public hearing. No, we have to hold a public hearing for this one. If we do make a change, we have to hold a public hearing before we send the recommendation back to the board. So I think those were the clarifications, but Your choices at this time are either make lot coverage and FAR the same, if you want to increase it at this point, or if you want to leave it as is, you can leave it as is, but I'm just going to say that it is not equitable standard in there.
Are you suggesting that we then turn 4 down to 20% and remove, and make 6 20% so that everything is consistent?
If you just take off 4 and 6, then it's just lot coverage is 20%, FAR is 20%, irrespective of whether the lot is conforming or non-conforming. At least you are saying that however you want to use it, use it. If you want to use it on 1 floor, use it on 2 floors, this is what you get.
Well, that seems inequitable to me because a 2-4-story thing, like you say, is not impervious surface.
But that's a good question. That's exactly why I said, what is the purpose of FAR?
Yeah.
We can defer that discussion to a later time to master plan. But at this point, that was just what I was thinking. If you wanted to think about it, sleep on it, talk about it at the next meeting, that's fine. But I just wanted to food for thought.
So could I try one more time, FAR?
Well,
So,
I think she's got a good point, like,
it doesn't, the impervious surface that it's trying to avoid is roads. and-
right, I
Yeah,
get that.
okay, you get it, okay. And what about the R2? So you're proposing something different now? You're not saying it's the same as the R2?
Because
Because the R2 is urban infrastructure.
I was
Yeah.
using R2 as a reference to justify the 30% number that's
Yes,
proposed. But if we are not interested in increasing the number, I say we at least bring it down so that it's consistent with lot coverage. Or you can
What do
leave
you
it as
think
is and see if it becomes an issue for another guy, or if we have a list of applicants, who are not happy with the requirement, and then we can change it.
So what do you think about removing 4 and 6 and looking at it at the master planning stages? We still need a public hearing to do that because
Right.
we're changing the ordinance, but it does make it consistent. It does work to remove, to at least acknowledge impervious surfaces.
I do want to point out that there were some zoning compliance permits issued which allowed 30% and ignored FAR,
How recently?
maybe a decade ago.
Oh,
So this still feels to me like we haven't really evaluated the whole concept and we're just going in and making little tweaks.
so,
So I would
No,
want to
but-
have more,
but no offense, but
assessment.
Scioto Township, just throw them out. Anybody who's doing a thing with Scioto Township and us, don't bother with that.
there are 16 townships that do this.
I know, but not Scioto. It's a bad example.
Okay, 15.
We can look at that, like, how about this? How about let Kay finish her tabulation for all the 16 townships? We bring it back and then the planning commission will have more information so that you can make an informed
And
decision.
that was gonna be my suggestion, bring it back for the next meeting. Before we make the next meeting,
Pardon?
would you have that kind of research done by the next meeting?
I will do it. I would feel more comfortable if we had more comprehensive discussion, and I'm fine with delaying it, but
Okay.
if you put that on the agenda, I'll get it done.
It doesn't have to be done. Like you said, there's no hurry.
Okay, I would rather have 2 meetings to do it.
So November,
Is that okay?
Oh, there's no rush, I just
And I will
didn't feel
send
like it
it
should
to
be
you.
delayed till master plan. 2 years seems like something when we can clearly see that's something that needs to be fixed.
But then I can send it to you, and you can look at it, and you have time to look at it before
Totally
the
fine.
meeting too.
Right,
Whereas if I only have 2 weeks, then you don't have much time to look at it.
right. All I'm asking is whether you make a decision as a yes or a no, that you understand the whole point from both sides.
yeah, that's fine. Do you agree with that? You want research come back in November?
You need a motion.
Yes, we do.
Move to postpone item 15B to the November meeting.
Discussion? Roll call, Rick?
Aye.
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 discussion items. Nuisance ordinance working group, whatever your name is.
They're the good news.
Oh, and, is it a committee?
George, you said you grabbed the printouts, right?
I did print them out, I didn't.
No,
Okay, good.
it's a single sheet of paper, 2 sides. I'm sure you might want to look under some. There it is. Yep. And those 2 maps go with K's. Yeah.
Do you have a tree on your desk or up on your? All right, what you'll see is, okay, so, well, I was waiting on people to open their computer and get the paperwork out.
Oh, that's
You're
good.
good?
Go ahead.
This discussion item. Nuisance
Do you need it?
working group.
Here,
You don't? George didn't give you one? Oh my goodness gracious. She got 3 pages, I got 2.
oh, she got 2 pages.
No,
All right, so we have met
Twice.
twice, and what you're looking at being a page, I'm gonna call it a page and a half, so there is a second page of this guide. This is, the attempt is to line it with the care of animals ordinance, so that it just jives. That was the whole point in this in the first place. As you can read, this is not too terribly complicated. Would you like to take a couple minutes, since it was just handed out tonight, a couple minutes and go read it right quick, please?
Is there a copy?
Just a-
available to the public?
I was just going to say, just a procedural clarification. The agenda said it was a verbal update because we didn't think we would be very efficient in the last.
it is a verbal.
I think, so this is a discussion item just to get your general idea, but it will be an official item for discussion at the next meeting so that we take it through the proper
Right.
procedure.
That's right.
Yep, thank you.
And then it will be uploaded tomorrow, correct?
It will be available, I can email it to you. It will be available tomorrow.
So discussion.
Well, so, as I
It's a
said,
verbal update.
that's what I'm trying to say. So, the attempt was to line this with the care of animals ordinance that was recently adopted. And, when you go through this, you'll see that this applies to non-farming operations. This was referencing MDARD and GAMS a few times. But this is for non-farming operations. It did bring up a small topic pertaining to, we're gonna call it dogs in the very beginning of this. So it's not only farm animals, but there was a clarification made, so that it would be, farm type animals or whatever, however we refer to that here. But, in essence, it's going through making sure that the keeping of animals does not become a nuisance. Thus, the restraining of animals, the food storage of animals, the housing of animals, safe from predators the best we can, these kinds of things. The disposal of dead animals following Public Act 239. Manure management, slaughtering of animals, just so that you don't get grossed out. It's written as, in essence, so the neighbor kids don't see it. Okay, when you look at other townships, they have wording that says inside a building, but that's too restrictive. The whole conversation had to do with so your neighbors can't see it. So being it because of the terrain, and a hill or a tree or a building that's blocking it, that's that whole conversation. Animal restraint is listed twice because the first page, animal restraint, was referring to dogs that's already in the ordinance, that's already there. The second page, animal restraint, is referring to the having a farm animal tethered to a chain, that whole conversation that we covered in depthly previously. And then, of course, just your common sense care of animals, and then the animal bite, the animal bite conversation. Yeah, that's it. So you all can review this, and we will talk about it next time.
Thank you. We want under new business, the next meeting?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I do want to indicate that Peter shared a link to the video when Jessica and,
Her partner.
yes, came and presented. I will forward the link if anybody wants to refresh their memory of what was discussed at the meeting. Thanks, Peter.
Thank you. Chief, what appellation would you like?
We're working on it.
Okay.
What we're calling ourselves.
Working group. Parks and Recreation Master Plan update.
I kind of said what I needed to share, what I wanted to share at the beginning.
Okay.
So, in short, no grant in 2026, grant application in 2027. We will wrap up the master plan adoption February or March. There will be another focus survey sent out in November along with the tax bills that is very specific to funding related questions to the park in the back.
Thank you. Any comments, updates, suggestions on that topic that you all want to just talk about? No? Thank you, Sheree. See, 2027 master plan planning. I mentioned this in previous meetings, and if you haven't noticed, I'm a planner. I really, I'm not a last minute kind of guy. It makes me crazy. And primarily, it's not just for me, but it's for everybody else, so that we're not, people have lives and other things to do. So one of the things I wanted to share that Katie had sent me a while back is what other people are doing. And we've talked about this before. We are not perfect. The way our committees were done the last time can be modified. We can look at it a different way. So this is just a discussion piece to look at in your spare time about what another group has done when they went through their master planning process and how they outlined their working groups and functions to accomplish their goals. So it's there, put it in your folder for master planning a year from now. Along that same line, and it's a resource that was made available through Mike, our supervisor, a lady named Patricia Matchemer from MSU contacted him and offered MSU student planning research help. It turns out they do a practicum this semester, and she wanted to know if they could be involved in anything here, but I said, it's really too early. We're just not prepared. I said, but in the spring and next summer, as we begin to look at this process, maybe there's something we can do. And she said, absolutely, contact us at that time. She, in the meantime, is going to take us collectively to their academic group and say, hey, Dexter or Webster Township is going to start the master planning. Can we build this into our curriculum next fall to provide some kind of service? I said, do you do research? Have you done this before? Because we were using outside sources, we were sort of, but if you guys have a curriculum that deals with this, give somebody a 4-point grade for doing some work. So she is working on their end. I do not have an update from there, but I wanted to make you aware that some academics have been made available to us to help. And so I wanted to, if you want the spelling, it's M-A-C-H-E-M-E-R. M-A-C-H-E-M-E-R. Patricia with a C-I-A at the end. So that's all I had on that topic. Does anybody else have anything they want to? I realize it's way ahead of time, I get it, but.
I'd make 2 comments. Sure, been through a lot of master plans. In the past, the company or planner we had at the time always needed another resource, professional resource, to help us do the master plan. Knowing how busy you've been, when we do this process, will you need another professional
Yeah,
resource?
definitely.
Okay.
Because I sought out help for Parks and Rec master plan, but it kind of worked out well because I have a working relationship with Giffords, and then it was very efficient. But definitely, it doesn't need to be that, but definitely would need another.
Okay, second point. I've been in the industrial world, and when interns came in, like proposing,
Right.
it always created more work for me, because you can give them an assignment, but you've got to spend hours explaining the assignment, and then all through that process, helping them along. But they get the work done, but it does take more of your time, so consider that when you decide to go out and say, okay, let's get these other 2 people in here, because you've added workload to Sri or whoever the other person is.
Yes, collaboration with students takes more time than it's teaching, but there might be other standalone projects which doesn't impact our timeline, we can think just with
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
encourage them. Maybe we can put them on doing research on FAR and lot coverage.
No, that's what I was thinking, Paul, not that they be integrated into our work,
I get it,
but if we give, no, I've had interns.
it's always more work regardless of what
But
you
it
do.
doesn't have to be her,
Well, it could be you.
could be me. No, and I'm all for that, but it's just, and we don't know what they have to offer. They haven't come back
I
to
just
this,
want to raise those
so we don't know where they fit in.
There's great resources there.
Yeah,
It's a learning, it's an experience for them.
Right.
They benefit a lot.
right.
It's time on the planning commission or planner.
I think what Patricia's looking for, so our other, are a project that she can give out as an assignment so that they can get grades out of it. So,
Yeah.
so if it's something that can be completed in a short time, then that would serve their purpose. Mike gave me her contact as well, and I've met her because she's a member on our Parks and Rec committee as well. So we didn't get to bounce ideas off each other, but thank you for bringing that point, Paul. It definitely makes the process harder if we try to bring them in the actual process, but they might be start little off projects we can seek out help for. But we never know what kind of talent we would get either, so.
No, there was. But we can, I don't know what we can do. But, and you've heard me say this before, and it came up the other night, which is why she mentioned it earlier at the board meeting last night, on research. And when I came in at the end of the last master plan, and I watched focus groups, as it were, or the listening sessions, as it were. Just like last night, 33 people out of 6,000 residents. I'm making a thing to make a point that and I'm going to say this sort of semi off the record. I get it why people want dirt roads, because it's rural. But the people who didn't show up, when I looked at the data results, were the people who live in the subdivisions who want paved roads. But the people go, I don't want a paved road because it's going to make speeders come down my thing, and kids are going to get drunk and go fast on my road through my farm. I became very sensitive, maybe a new word, if that's a correct word, to what happened with the research last time. I'm not confident that research actually reflected the master plan.
You mean the visioning session?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was small turnout.
Right.
And we got a level on the survey. We got what typically people get. I asked my planning commission buddy at Webster Township, but we really need to do better. We need a broader input. And I know Sri has made this a priority, and I was happy to get an email from our supervisor with the, email blast emails. So I know this has been a priority, and we really need to have effective communication mechanisms in place so we can really try to bring people in, whatever their opinions are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I do want to say for the Parks and Rec open house, I sent emails to every board member across all committees, and then even if all the board members showed up, we would have probably had at least over 60. So, just saying. But I do, it's probably not related to the planning commission, but I was thinking of probably redirecting Patricia to Historical Society because they could use some planners. And their scope is small.
There you go.
I think
Okay. Well, that's things for the future. So we're okay with just the general discussion of master planning at this point. Again, I realize it's very early. On to item D. The reason I added this was, if any of you have looked at the board agendas, they have two other areas that we do not have. And they revised their agenda to accommodate these. In the first case, I don't think, they have the supervisor comments and board member comments prior to business. I don't have a need to think I need to say anything before we start our meetings because of the way we work compared to how the board works. But we do get into some topics sometimes later where some of you have said, oh, I would like to talk about this. Nowhere in our agenda do we have that as the PC members' comments before public comment or after public comment. So I just, nothing to do tonight, but think about that before our next meeting, and you all see the board agenda, whether that's something we want to revise in our agenda. It's a thought thing for next meeting. And then all of you have been to the board meetings, you know that they've changed that and how that works. So think about it.
Comments earlier, somewhere. Comments from the PC. We do have the comments at the end, but that's all the way at the end. So you're talking about earlier.
Well, and the reason is, we get into things and our comments come at the end after we've had the discussion.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no, potentially no frame of reference if somebody, you've talked to Patricia, or you've talked to another, so that, but the way we work is different than the board. I don't know that we need to add it, so just think about it for next meeting, and if we want to, on how we operate and how you would like potentially opportunities to say something before we get into the grist.
Am I allowed to say something?
You are. You are.
Okay, well, I don't want to violate something twice in one day.
Jesus.
The way I see that is it's a great idea because one of the things with the change of the board meetings is that after public comment, the trustees chime in on something and it allows them the time immediately after public comment, which oftentimes the public, recently the public has been there, and it allows the board an opportunity to chime in on a comment of after public comment without letting it sit and fester, or for that matter, it becomes a point of order. They've been pretty good about even acknowledging somebody after everything's closed and somebody has a question, and Mike is pretty good about, trying to help them out. But in this case, what it would do is allow an official, comment back to people if they have a question, and we don't have to wait till the end of the meeting or whatever. Just, well, it's fresh, right? It's fresh if we need to clarify something. So I think it's a good idea to talk about.
Okay, bring it back, we'll have it for the next meeting in a formal discussion in either topic. Thank you. Yes?
Before we get to item D.
We are on D.
Edward.
We're on D now.
Okay.
Before we start talking about what's on next agenda, I wanted to make a request. So October 22nd to October 24th, there is a Michigan Planning Conference in Kalamazoo I wanted to attend. So I do have the board meeting 21st, so the idea is that maybe I'll leave early 22nd morning because the session started at 8 a.m. So I was hoping if you're open to another meeting where I could attend, or if you are comfortable having a meeting without me.
You know, there's another one up at, great, did you see this?
You're back to back, but I like math.
Okay.
But yes, they are back to back. We submitted proposals for both of them. No, I think we submitted a proposal for math. We didn't get it, but we got a place where we can interact with them also.
So you would not be on the October meeting or November?
October 22nd, I won't be in Detroit.
So potentially, would October, Monday the 27th be an option?
Sure. I'll be back 24th.
Or you want to move our meeting is what you're saying?
I'm asking, if
She's asking.
she's asking if you want to be at the meeting, then can we consider another date? But if you're comfortable when you have the agenda to have a discussion without me, then you can keep the 22nd.
So potentially October 27th, Monday, or October 29th, Wednesday. Is that? Oh, no, I'm sorry, we can't. No, 29th, 30th, we can't, that's right.
Can't.
So that's why the 27th, so Kay and I are going to the MTA conference in Frankenmuth.
Move on to that one?
Yes, 29th, 30th. So the 13th is a holiday, but we don't want that because it's before the board meeting. So the alternate date
Well, our
would be,
date for October is before the board meeting anyway.
no, we had already changed it at the first of the year. We even though it's not posted, we had discussed it to be the 22nd.
Oh, but I think
No,
the October 15th was posted,
right.
was the posted meeting date. There was a disconnect in the
There was a
communication.
disconnect because I had it in my.
But the
phone.
official date that's posted online is October, oh, yes, that's the other point, thanks, George.
Yes.
The official date that the board, the dates the board accepted is October 15th.
Right.
But that's really not correct according to our bylaws, because that's the third Wednesday, but not the third Wednesday after the third Tuesday.
Right, I don't know how that happened because I remember it how you remember it. But then when I actually looked at the resolution where they adopted the dates, it just simply said third Tuesday.
Right.
So I don't know who deleted.
So you would be here on the 15th? or
I
not?
would be here on the 15th.
Yeah.
And it's currently posted for the 15th, not the
Correct.
22nd.
I told Linda not to post anything yet, but yes.
No, but it's.
It's in the,
If you look at the website,
yeah.
it's on the website as the 15th.
I have my calendar also from the 22nd when we discussed it.
Because we discussed it.
Right.
It just didn't, they didn't jive, so.
Right, so I think
But we
now that I
talked
said that, you can probably take a look at what's on the agenda and then determine what date you want the meeting to be. Right?
Are you still talking about a ZBA meeting on the 14th?
Yeah, this is planning commission.
I don't want to, no.
Okay. So Mark is not available for October 15th.
You're not available on the 22nd.
But we can take a look at the agenda and,
I don't think we have we have this historic society, the animal nuisance discussion. We don't have anything for a public hearing in that meeting. We don't have any other ordinances, drafts that are due, are they? Not for October.
Can we do the special land use without a tree?
I would like to be there. Especially with what Dita said at last night's meeting, I want to make sure she's telling the same thing to the planning commission what she told me.
I wouldn't worry about that too much with her.
I mean, that would not be your last meeting.
Right, it would. What date do you guys want? I'm open every time. Do it on the 20th, just keep it on the 20th.
20th?
27th.
22nd.
Or 22nd, rather, 22nd, sorry.
The tree won't be there.
Yeah, so she won't be there.
George said the 27th.
No, that's
No,
not.
it was just,
Do it on the 20th. No, that's before,
No,
that's
what
in
about
front of
Monday the
the board
20th?
meeting, that's no good.
What?
That's in front of the board meeting.
But is that okay?
That's
One time?
So we do it on the 22nd. Are we okay with the 22nd?
But the special land use without tree, is that gonna be effective?
We can do it. And do you think we're gonna make a decision that night?
No.
There you go. I mean, no offense, but,
No, whatever makes it easier.
I mean,
I don't think, specifically that, I don't think a decision will be made because my memo will speak for me.
yeah,
Ah, okay, that's a good point. That's a good point.
And then I'll transfer everything I have in my head to you.
so it's still October 27th. Right.
And in person.
We're still okay with October 22nd. Can you change that on the website, though?
We will.
Thank you.
Do we need a motion? What's the official
Yeah.
date?
We got it.
Official date is October 15th,
So we're gonna-
so this would be a special meeting. It would be a motion for a special meeting for 22nd.
Right.
so how do you, I'm sorry.
But based on the bylaws, we can schedule a special meeting. The chair can schedule a special meeting without a motion, so it's fine.
So we have to have a motion to cancel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what I was gonna ask.
But that, we should. Because it's officially out there in the public.
I mean, it wouldn't hurt. We can, yes.
Right?
George, do all those
Yeah,
motions.
no motion, please.
So I move to
Reschedule.
reschedule the October 15th posted meeting to October 22nd to become a special meeting.
Discussion?
Who seconded it?
Aye.
Thank you.
Discussion? Roll call? Rick?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carried. The meeting is October 22nd. Just like it says on the agenda. Public comment, there's no
topics. There are topics for the meeting. Back to E.
Oh, right. Topics for October, geez.
You said special land use, keeping the.
Fully as the animal nuisance,
Animals.
special land use with the Historic Society.
Uh-huh.
I believe that's it.
So, groundwater? Is there-
I'm fine with
Is there a chance to begin groundwater discussions and give an earlier, a verbal update?
Absolutely. I'm all in favor of it going on. It's been sitting for a long time.
So when we had our detailed discussion in February, it seemed that Paul and I were the only two that had really looked at the ordinance and tried to use it when we had site plan reviews. So I would propose, if he accepts, and you all accept, that he and I work on it with Sri. Does that work for
Well,
you,
you're
Paul?
okay with that?
That's fine.
That makes two subcommittees, you're on. Working groups.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
I just don't want to,
That's all right.
So we identified like 4 things at our meeting, but we haven't had a chance as a
Right.
working group to go through those.
Right.
So we'd probably just, confirm, yes,
And give
we
a
need to
verbal
fix
update.
this, and this, but not actually fix it yet.
Right. Sounds good. Thanks. I'm happy to get that going. Peter, we passed, while you were out, we had public comment, you weren't here. Is there anything you'd like to say?
I would just echo George's comments about the board having a chance to comment after public comment, just offering an opportunity to the members of the committee to give some kind of response to potential public input.
Thanks. Okay. Information items. It has come to my attention through some comments that there's a concern that we spend too much time in our meetings reviewing in detail our ordinances. And that being the case, not for this meeting, but for the next meeting, I would like to have all of you prepare what you think is a better way of doing it. And here's my concern with us not doing it here. I believe we have a responsibility to the board and to the public who's going to get this ordinance to provide a correct and accurate document. First, for the board to review it so they don't have to send it back with comments or corrections that we missed because we didn't go into detail. Secondly, I believe on the board's behalf we owe it to provide a document that's legally defensible, because sometimes I've noticed that they don't read what we send them in detail. And I believe, our bylaws, it's our responsibility to provide those documents in the best case we can. However, that being said, there's a better way to do it. I think we've improved on what it used to be, because we seem to move things along and through things quickly, but a little bug has been put in my ear that we spend too much time doing it. So please, for the next meeting, bring back your thoughts, and I'm happy to entertain better ways to do things. That's all I got. Anybody else have any comments or correspondence?
After you, I'll go in the end.
I have one comment. Earlier in the summer, I put this Master Citizen Planner webinar series in your box. And there's one coming up on October 16th, which is a Thursday. It talks about rural planning, exploring non-urban planning. It says non-urban areas sometimes require different approaches when making land use decisions than more densely populated areas. This session will explore some specific rural considerations across common land use topics, including housing, transportation, natural resources, and more. So if you're interested, I brought a few more copies of where you can sign up. It's an online webinar thing. I plan to participate. So just let me know.
Who's presenting?
It's MSU Extension, and the name of the person is Tyler August. So they have a master planner series where they have all these courses and they have a certification and et cetera. So every year they have topics.
Great. Thanks, Kate. Sri, you had something you wanted to mention?
Yes, Matt responded. He said he flagged it initially, but then realized it made sense.
Okay, done.
You lost.
You lost.
And then I wanted to just give you an update on accessory structure amendment. It's still, it is waiting because board is making good progress with private road along them too. And then, ordinance discussions do get tiring sometimes. So one, they're all very mentioned on private roads, but it's there. One last comment I was going to make in the beginning. I have recently received requests to review setbacks for 2 lots in Loch Alpine. Both are closer to that creek that shows up on the map, Boarding Creek. But then when you actually go there, there's no creek. There's a ditch, but there's no visible water. And they kept arguing with me that I don't know why it's blue on the plan. The water setback wouldn't apply to this one. So because it's not my expertise to determine where the ordinary high water mark is, in both those cases, I send them to MD Eagle and then tell them, schedule a pre-application meeting with them and ask them to come and determine where the ordinary high water mark is. In both, I'm yet to receive recommendation for the other lot, but the one that's just on Joy Road, 2 empty lots just on Joy Road, MD Eagle came back and said, this doesn't fall under the definition of a stream, so I would probably consider the center line of the stream as the ordinary high water mark. And that's how I applied the setback. So, just wanted to keep you posted on how I administered that standard. And then that's going to be my go-to procedure. If anybody else comes and argues with me, it's just dry ditch, there's no ordinary high water mark. I'm like, okay, get the sign off from MD Eagle, then I'll apply the setback.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Great, thank you. Anything else, anybody? Yeah, Julie?
We talked about the email blast. I don't know if everybody saw Mike's email
Oh, he finally sent one?
about well water testing event on Saturday, October 4th.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I got it.
You have to
It
sign
went to
up.
my spam or something, but I got it. It came yesterday at 2:43.
It's
Oh,
up
really?
there.
It went to spam?
That's so strange. I finally got it.
It came to my promotional or something, wasn't in my regular folder.
Huh. I don't got it. Oh, well.
You use the list where we have to sign up for it, right? The future newsletter. right?
Yeah.
So you actually have to enter your email there.
I didn't get any notification at all, so. Oh, well. Anybody else? Have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Somebody else make a poll. Okay.
No, it's okay. It's
No,
easy.
no.
It's easy, got it.
Okay, Paul made a motion.
Hi,
Oh, wait, who seconded it? George.
George.
All in favor? Thank you. See you next month.